And here's a look at both Ottawa and Washington. Prime Minister Carney announcing yesterday that Canada will be dropping some countermeasures on American goods amid the trade war between the two countries. With me now is Matthew Holmes, Senior Vice President, Policy and Government Relations, Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Matthew, good evening and thanks for your time.
Great to be with you, Akshay.
So, dropping these reciprocal tariffs on the U.S., what impact do you think this will have on Canadian businesses and consumers?
Well, I think some consumers will see this fairly quickly in the grocery stores. For example, orange juice is one of the examples that people have been talking about and seeing in the shelves, the price increases there. But it's the businesses, too, who rely on supply chains from the U.S., components, ingredients, materials that they use in their manufacturing or in the products they make. And so we will see some relief and some of those prices come down. In terms of the strategy here, it's probably a smart play for Canada to really underscore the importance and the value of CUSMA, our trade relationship with the United States. They have been honoring and respecting CUSMA compliant products in products that are imported into the United States. And so by us showing that we're also putting value in that trade agreement, it helps us as we turn our attention to renegotiation or review of that up ahead.
That's right, because the Prime Minister stressing on the fact that we are matching with what the U.S. is doing when it comes to CUSMA. And while the Prime Minister said that about CUSMA-compliant goods, Matthew, there still remains a huge gap in tariffs in steel, aluminum and copper. Your take on that, because the Americans are imposing 50%, where Canada is looking at 25% for now.
Yes, and if we look at what Prime Minister Carney released late last week on Friday, they were very specific in this news release, in this press release, that said, look, when you look at the sort of reframing of trade with America, countries around the world, our competitors in trade, are paying 15%, up to 50% in some cases in terms of broad-based tariffs. But when we look at Canadian access to the the American market through CUSMA, about 85 to 90% of the products we sell them are going through tariff-free. But as you've mentioned, it's those areas like steel, aluminum, copper, auto parts. Those are what we call 232 tariffs. Those are the ones that are still having a really significant tariff put on them. And that's damaging to Canadian business, certainly. Our membership is feeling it at the Canadian Chamber, and we're seeing that affect jobs, affect investment decisions, and other things like that that are so critical for business. So they are damaging, but what this move does is it just to say, look, we're here with goodwill, we're negotiating with you, we're meeting you on the things we can agree on, but it's the other things like steel and aluminum that we need to focus the next step on. And that's where we see some sign of hope here, is that Canada is signaling, look, we're willing to be good partners here, but let's get to business on the parts that we can agree on, and that's steel, aluminum, copper, and auto parts.
Indeed. Talking about CUSMA, though, we know that a renewal day, a review is set soon. It's going to happen 2026. What are your concerns there, Matthew? Because there are challenges, of course, Canada continues to face in dealing with this White House. If you were to look at how things have, played out since February of this year, what are your concerns on the challenges we might face when it comes to reviewing that deal again?
Yeah, look, this is not done yet, and we're not out of the woods. We have the biggest trade agreement in the world. We have the best access to the American market, and we're going to need to work hard to keep that, frankly. So we're not out of this for a while yet, and we're going to be seeing a whole host of issues relitigated, reviewed. It's a complex agreement. It involves Mexico, the U.S., and Canada. These are very important trading partners for us, number one and number three for Canada. And we need to take it very seriously. And what gets decided at that table will have a real impact on our economy. So it's important. We need to be putting all of our cards on in this game. We have to really be careful in how we play it.
Indeed. Matthew Holmes, Senior Vice President, Policy and Government Relations, Canadian Chamber of Commerce. Always a pleasure, Matthew. Thank you for your time.
Take care. Great to be with you.